This is an 8-cylinder compressed air engine that I designed in CAD in Onshape. And this is one of the parts from it that I've made. This is on a manual mill. Everything you see here is on a manual mill. It's the main part, that's the block. The same part here is what I just showed you. So the entire assembly here, if I get rid of this front plate, it's a little bit easier to see. And if I get rid of the block itself, you can see inside of this how it works. It is a compressed air engine. So this is the intake. Air will come in this brass tube, and this is the exhaust. It'll come out the back right here. It's a little bit confusing to understand how this works, but if I turn the flywheel, all the pistons are going. That's because of this crankshaft down here, and the pistons are, each one's offset a quarter of a rotation, and everything is kept in time. Here, this would be a gear. I don't have the gear in place right now, drawn in the CAD, but this would be a gear, and that keeps both our intake and exhaust in time, and this gear just transfers the motion up there. When we put air into the intake right here, there are holes all the way around this, and same on the on the exhaust, that direct where the air goes into which piston, into which cylinder. And the block, the engine block, has channels in it. This will probably be really hard to see with all these lines. I'll come over to this side. Still, it's a little bit confusing, but you can see there's holes drilled. It's the same holes that are drilled up here and in there and here. All of these holes and all these directions create channels for the air to flow through. And back on our main assembly, you can sort of see, maybe from this angle, that as these turn, we have our holes changing position, which redirects the air into a different cylinder. So that's the basic concept of this engine here. It's not complete quite yet. I need to add a back plate there, and I need to add teeth on this crankshaft. But it's a really interesting design. I'm really excited to see how the rest of the parts turn out. This is the first one I've made, and I'll be making the other ones to see this thing go together. Down here I have another compressed air engine. This was the first one I made. I didn't design this, I used someone else's design. But this is all done manually. All the parts that you see here are machined manually, except for this valve and the fittings here, and the pipe, or the hose clamp. This is a 1-cylinder rather than having 8 cylinders here. We just got one big one, and this cam that's in time with our flywheel actuates this piston here, so it engages the valve on different parts of the rotation, and the valve feeds air into our cylinder to push the piston back and move the flywheel. This works on similar principle, but the way that it redirects the air is a lot different and a lot more complicated. But they should both be able to run on compressed air or steam. Here's the 1-cylinder engine. You can run it off of compressed air or steam, but right now I have compressed air hooked up. So as soon as I push this valve in, it should start to run. Anyway, I'm pretty excited to see how this engine turns out. And if you like the design or have any questions or comments about it, make sure to leave that and give the video a thumbs up and subscribe.